Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the third Google Hangouts. Again, I'm Natalie, and I'm going to have the other panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Julian again, an NPB major. Nothing has changed. Also thinking about a theater minor major too. I'm involved with APO again, which is a service fraternity, College Council, which is the governing body of the College of Arts and Sciences, and intramural sports.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a sophomore in the college. I study media studies and economics, double major. I'm an admissions fellow here in the Office of Undergraduate Admission, so I may have checked you in when you visited. I'm also a tour guide, so I could have given you a tour. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a junior in the college. I'm double majoring in environmental science and economics. And I'm involved in Student Alumni Board, Student Government Association, and I'm the president and founder of the Undergraduate Sustainability Club.
Woo. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and feel free to ask any questions that you have in the Q&A section. And so I tried to come up with some questions that we haven't already covered, and you guys should definitely check out the previous 2 videos for all of those great answers. So my first question is, how did you make your college decision? So did any of you guys have to make that decision without having to visit Emory, or did everyone have the opportunity to visit?
I had the opportunity to visit, but I'm going to talk a little bit. I actually made my decision before visiting, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So I came from the West Coast, as you might have heard in a previous video. So I really had no opportunity or exposure to Atlanta initially, but I really wanted to go to a good school that was away from like where I had grown up, but also had a lot of opportunities, great weather, great city around it. And so like from watching all these like visual tours online, as well as having the opportunity to meet current students through opportunities such as this, like Google Hangouts, which were unfortunately not there at that time, but I was able to communicate over Facebook with some current students, and I got a sense of what the university was like, and I found that it fit my interests in terms of like the weather, the environment, and all the opportunities that it had to offer.
Nice. What about you guys? How did you choose Emory?
Do you want to go ahead? I'll go ahead. So I actually applied ED to Emory, so I knew that I really wanted to go here. I actually visited twice. I went in summer after my junior year, and then I went for fall for Emory, fall open house. I just really knew I really wanted to come here because walking around the campus was absolutely beautiful, rain or shine. And I just saw so many people that were just genuinely happy to come to Emory. They were all smiling, like throughout my tour. They kept saying, "Come to Emory," like smiling. So now I make a point to do that anytime I see a tour on campus. And it's just a really great environment. I was really able to get that from my tour and from my experience. And just like the whole idea of dually and, Songfest, we have the ability to not take ourselves so seriously all the time. And I love that. And it's just like, for a lot of people for college, they're scared that it's going to be very stressful or just very, very rigorous. But while we do have that, we also have the ability to not take ourselves so seriously all the time. We have a skeleton as our unofficial mascot. Like we have fun with it. Yeah.
So I actually started at Oxford College, but I fell in love with both campuses when I came to visit during an April admitted student day. And what happened for me was same like Julian. I was also from the West Coast, so I wanted to get away from home and like explore new things. But I really just fell in love with the community that I saw. And when I was taking a tour, I like wanted to be the same person as my tour guide. Like she was so like friendly on campus. Everyone knew her. She was really involved and passionate about what she studied and what she did. And I felt like it was a community that I could really thrive in, because I was kind of shy in high school, so I felt like this was a place where I could really kind of grow into the person I was meant to be. So that's what happened.
Nice. Great answers, guys. So we already have some questions, and I'll go ahead and start with Rachel's question, which says, is Emory cutthroat competitive? Do either of you guys want to take that as a junior and a sophomore with more experience?
You can take it.
Sure. I honestly have never felt competitive in any of my classes. Most of my classes aren't graded on a curve, so that probably has something to do with it. But honestly, like all of my classes are really collaborative. We have a lot of group projects and team papers and stuff like that we work together on. But I would also say in general, I think there's a general drive to kind of push yourself to be better and to try harder at your classes and at your extracurriculars, but it's not because you want to be better than your classmates. It's just because like I'm constantly inspired by how much I see my friends doing every day. So it inspires me to do more. So I'm kind of like competing against myself, but I don't ever feel like competitive with other students.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Okay, so we have a question from Maggie, And it says, I've heard a lot about the creative writing program, but I was curious about any student-led writing groups on campus. So do you guys... Yeah, so I know of, we have something called the Pulse at Emory, and that's kind of like a collective arts literature, and they have a lot of poetry and then also other types of arts as well. But there is, I know, there's like a writing journal. I'm not sure the name of it also, but there are a lot of opportunities to get involved with writing at Emory, such as the Emory Wheel, and I have a lot of friends involved with that. It's our student run newspaper. We also have the Spoke, which is like a spoof newspaper.
Like the Onion.
Yeah.
It's like the Onion, yeah, and it's really funny. So there are a lot of opportunities to be able to get involved with writing outside of your classes. Anyone else want to add on it? Or is that pretty much sum it up?
You hit it, yeah.
Okay, so we have another question, and it says, what are the different types of residents freshmen can get put into? Okay, so anyone, do you want to talk about residence halls?
Since I'm
Token
first year
first
student here. So all first year students will get put in a first year residence hall. So that means it will be on campus, and it will be a hall either with a single gendered hall or like a mixed gendered hall. And so you'll be in a dorm room with another roommate, or if you potentially get a single. So when you fill out your application, you aren't guaranteed to get a single, you aren't guaranteed to get a double, and you aren't guaranteed to get a suite. You can put in preferences for roommates, you can get matched with a roommate, but none of that stuff is guaranteed going in. And I think that's one of the beauties here at Emory, is the fact that nothing like, you aren't going in necessarily with like a set structure that you have to follow. You have all these opportunities to meet new people, to explore things that, you might have like this perfect idea of what you want your college experience to be like. Well, we want to fit that mold. We also want you to give the opportunities to experience a lot of different things. So I got put in Raoul Hall this year, which is all the halls have themes here. And so Raoul's Hall theme is social entrepreneurship. And while initially, like, I didn't necessarily know what social entrepreneurship was, by engaging like with the other people there, I got to meet a ton of new people and like learn about business, but also taking action on important social issues. So if that helps sum it up a little bit.
Okay, perfect. So we have another question, and it says, what is a typical day like? How many hours of studying do you do each day? That's a great question. So why don't one of you two take it?
I mean, we can both say
Yeah,
because I'm sure our days are different. Well, as far as studying goes, I'm a bad example because I procrastinate. So like last night, because I had a test and an assignment this morning, I probably studied like 6 hours. But normally I'd probably say it's like much less than that. I wouldn't say it's average because honestly, when you get to college, you really have to manage your own time because you're not going to be in class from 8 to 5 anymore. So you have time to study. You just kind of have to like force yourself to take a break from hanging out with your friends or going to eat and like actually focus. So I don't think anyone really has an average number of hours that they spend studying. But my day, I'll tell you about my day. So today I woke up and I went to
wow.
Wait, you woke up? Really?
I know, it's a miracle.
That's always the hardest part.
I got up and then I went to 2 of my classes. Both of them were environmental science for a major. And then I went to lunch actually with this fellow student who's going to be interning at the same company as I'm going to be interning at this summer in Atlanta.
Awesome.
So where are you interning?
So I'm interning at this company called Urginet. So it's a really small startup in Atlanta, but they're an energy data company. So they helped their clients basically cut down on their energy use and reduce their carbon footprint. So they're a really cool like merger of business and sustainability, which is what I'm really passionate about. So I'm really excited to work for them. But yeah, so I met this one other Emory student who's going to be an intern there. And I kind of just met her through friends of friends. So we found out we were both working at the same place. So I had a lot of fun getting to know her for the first time. And then I went to the gym for a while, which is why I'm not dressed to impress, by the way, just so you know. I went to a hip hop fuego class, which is one of those like group fitness classes that they offer here. It's a really fun way to like get in shape and dance all your stress out.
I've heard good things about hip hop fuego.
Really
I could
fun.
never. It would be bad.
No, it's a room of like 50 other people. Like no one can see if you like mess up. You know, it's all fun.
So basically, what Amy is trying to say is there's a lot of other things that you do during a day aside from just studying. So if you balance out your schedule, you'll be able to go to class and also enjoy a variety of other activities while finishing your homework.
Thanks for bringing that back.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about you? What's your typical day?
So my typical day will either be classes or working here in the Office of Admission. So today, for example, I woke up just like Amy, which is amazing.
Shocking.
Really proud of myself for that. And then I went to my 10 o'clock intro to macroeconomics class. Then after that, it was 10 to 10:50. And it's a lecture style class, about 40 students, I would say. It's my biggest class of the year, which is saying something. Then I went to my probability and statistics for economist class. And then after that, I went to my Spanish class, my intermediate Spanish 2. And then I went back to my room and did laundry, which is something I definitely recommend you do. Laundry is free here at Emory, if you didn't know. So that's something really great. You don't have to. I know my mom was really excited that I didn't have to bring all the coins and everything to Emory. So that was my day. And then I kind of napped for a little bit, and then I came here.
Nice.
We
We went on a tangent with that question, but I'm glad we covered all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So our next question is, I noticed Emory has a lot of graduation requirements. How easy is it to take classes outside of your major and still get all of your credits in for 4 years? So maybe Amy take that because you're already a junior, so you've got more experience with taking classes.
Sure. So for one thing, I came in with a ton of AP credits. So if you have AP or IB credits, definitely look into see if those can transfer over to Emory College courses, because that really helps get a lot of your general education requirements out of the way. But I would say it was easier than I thought, especially because sophomore year, I started just taking a bunch of classes for fun, like sociology and women's studies, because I wanted to explore new things. And they helped fulfill my general education requirements, and they were just kind of ways to satisfy my curiosity. But actually, one mistake I made was I actually tried too hard to fulfill all of those too quickly, because I thought I had to get them done and before I would do my major. But then now that I've come to junior year, a lot of those classes for my major also qualify as general education requirements. So there's really no need to try to push yourself too hard to finish all of those, because they end up kind of
And going and taking classes that are not inside your major, especially in your freshman or sophomore year. As a first year, I took this class called Foundations of Linguistics. It satisfied a history credit for me, and it was one of the most interesting classes I've ever taken. I learned how to write in the International Phonetics Alphabet, which is what you see when you look at a dictionary. So completely useless skill, but really interesting. And I also just took Intro to Comp Sci 1 and 2, which is also a really great recommendation. It definitely makes you see the world in a different way. And that's entirely what Emory tries to get you to do with the liberal arts education, not just be stuck inside your major.
Nice. Okay, great answers. And so we have a question from Lindsay. I'll go ahead and select that. And it says, I've heard that NBB is one of the most difficult majors at Emory. To what extent would you say is this true?
I guess I can talk from an NBB's perspective, and then one of you maybe can talk from like another perspective on your major. So I'm an NBB major right now. Currently, I've only taken 2 classes, one NBB class and one elective requirement. So I would say that from the classes that I've taken, it's one of those majors that I think you have to be really passionate about the subject for. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of classes here are going to be difficult. There's always going to be things, because you're here to learn. So there's always going to be new things to learn and new things that you need to put your mind to. And it's one of those classes where you're going to have to put in the effort. You're going to have to put in all the work, no matter what class you take in the major. But I still feel like it's very, very doable. And I wouldn't even though some people may say it's the hardest major here, I don't know what it'd be comparing it to, because I still feel like it's very, very approachable.
Nice. Yeah, and I know a lot of seniors who are NBB majors, and they are going to do research next year at the NIH. Some are going to med school, some are doing other things. So I feel like it's just a really great major that Emory has. Okay. So we have a question about Atlanta. And it says, it's going to be my first time in Atlanta. What are some really interesting things to do around campus town? So what do you have to say about that?
So first thing I want to say is that if you're not already following the Emory Admissions Snapchat, you should do that right now, because my friend Alana is running the Snapchat today, and she's actually running all throughout Atlanta. So you can kind of get a glimpse into what she's doing. And that's the username is just Emory Admission, no space. Anyway, but I would say there's a lot of really fun things to do in Atlanta, and coming from Seattle, especially, I wanted to find like different diverse neighborhoods that weren't necessarily as Southern as I thought they would be. And I love that about Atlanta because all the neighborhoods are so different. So you have like downtown with the classic Georgia Aquarium, the World of Coca-Cola, all these different places. But then you have like the Beltline, which is this really great like biking trail with a bunch of street art. You have a ton of like restaurants and brunch places to eat at.
Brunch is
brunch.
great
I'm
in
obsessed with
Atlanta.
brunch. But yeah, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we have these little neighborhoods. Virginia Highlands, for example, has really great restaurants. Buckhead, also, there's Decatur, Midtown. You know, all these different areas are really great. Little Five Points, which is this great little hipstery area. They do a huge Halloween parade every year. Definitely recommend checking it out. Most of your residence halls will go in your first year.
Yeah.
But Atlanta's just really great. It's a really great cultural hub also. Theater, music, concerts, everything goes on here.
Nice. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. How many classes or credit hours does an average Emory student take? And I feel like we can all briefly say like approximately what we take, but I would say it definitely depends on what your major is or what like part of the year you're in, because maybe if you know you want to study abroad, you might take one more class one semester if you want to underload while you're abroad. So I think it definitely depends. But like, how many are you taking right now?
Yeah, I'm taking 4 classes right now, and I took 5 first semester, and I would say like 4 or 5 is typically what I'm going to range around for the rest of my time here.
I don't think you can take less than 4 and still complete the minimum of 12 hours unless you're a second semester senior where you can underload. But so I'm taking 5 and I usually take 5, but it just kind of depends on what you want to take.
I'm taking 5 right now also.
I'm taking 5 plus a 1 credit.
So he's
seminar.
slacking. I'm just kidding.
I'm taking 2 sciences, one for the other.
Just kidding. Sure. Okay, great question. So the next question is from Rachel, and it says, what has been your largest class? So
Largest class.
what do you guys think?
I think mine was 40, 50 students, and that was the Foundations of Linguistics class and my macroeconomics class right now. I think those are just because they're one of the lower level classes of a major, so that is why they're going to have more students. But then as you get up there, they're going to start going less and less. So my probability and statistics course is maybe 20 students, just because it's higher up in the major. So it really depends on what course level you're going to be at.
Nice. Okay, let's see. And Amy started at Oxford, and the classes there. One of the awesome perks of Oxford is that all of your classes are small. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
So at Oxford College, all of the classes, even like the science labs, are capped at a size of 33. So I've actually never had a class bigger than 33. And when I got to Emory College in my junior year, I was like, oh, what if I have to get shoved into this 200 lecture class or something? But all my classes have all been under 30 people still. So
That's awesome. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Let's do this question. Is Emory well known for its psych department, or does it focus more on business and med school? So none of us are psych majors, but I have a lot of friends who are.
I've taken 2 psych classes here, so I could talk a little bit about that. I would just say that from the professors that I've had, and I know a lot of psychology majors, and a lot of the professors here are very, very accomplished. I'm blanking on one name right now, but I know one of our professors was the first person, I think, to MRA a dog's brain. Is that correct?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's technically also in our psych department. We have a lot of notable faculty here, as well as a lot of people that are interested in psychology, and I would feel like it's very, very very, very popular major as well.
Yeah.
The psych classes also sound like the coolest classes at Emory. One of my friends took a drugs and behavior course. Someone's in a primate psychology class right now. They just sound so cool.
Yeah, I have 2 of my best friends randomly switched into being psychology double majors their junior year. So I think what a lot of people actually do is they come here and then they discover the psychology major and all these really cool classes that you can take. So some people, even if they don't come in wanting to study it, they really start falling in love with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of people do. I have a friend who's doing actually psych and NBB. So it has a lot of cool intersection with other majors. So I think that's why psych is such a cool major. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question now. So what's the relationship between Emory and Oxford like? And I want Amy to take that one because she has experience both.
So I'm just going to start this off by saying very candidly that before I came to Oxford and Emory, I was really nervous that like Oxford students would be looked down on somehow, that Oxford, was seen as like lesser than Emory College. And that was really so untrue when I got here. For one thing, like when I was at Oxford, I loved my experience so much that I didn't really start coming to visit the Atlanta campus until like end of my sophomore year. But they make the transition really, really easy for us. So we'll have like our own little orientation day. And then when we graduate on to Emory College, we continue on with like 450 of our best friends. So it makes the transition really easy for us. And we already have like mentors there to help us. And I would say personally, like I've worked in the admissions office of both Oxford and Emory, and the two work together so closely because we all are part of one university. So it's been one big family.
And I have a lot of friends who are currently at Oxford and a lot of Oxford continuee friends, and they just had the best experience. And Emory does a really good job, I think, of making the transition really smooth. Okay, so let's see. So Lindsay has a question about TEDx Emory. She says, what do you know about TEDx Emory? I'm interested, but I don't know too much about it. Do students speak in addition to visiting professionals?
Yeah.
So does anyone want to take that?
Do you want to take it?
Sure. So yeah, there is an application process for students to speak as well. I know at the beginning of the year, I guess there's like two ways really to get involved with TEDx Emory aside from attending the event. You can apply to be on the committee, which usually happens, I think, at the beginning of the year. And then also there are student applications. It tends to be that the majority of speakers end up coming from outside of Emory or are like sometimes Emory professors as well. But there are opportunities for students to speak as well as get involved.
To add on to that, if you don't mind, I know like probably the biggest events of the year that TEDx plans are bringing in outside speakers. That'll happen once or twice a year. It'll be like big production. But TEDx also co-hosts a lot of smaller events with other organizations on campus. So they do this thing called Salon where they actually host it at one of the fraternity houses. And they'll have people come in, like students come in and speak about any topic that they're passionate about. So I actually recently spoke at a climate salon at the end of our climate week in March. Yeah. So I was just selected as someone who's like involved in sustainability on campus. So they had me do like a 5-minute speech. And it was fun because they actually like trained me how to give better public speeches and stuff like that. So really it's open to all students to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay, great question. And so we have a question about what AP credits does Emory accept?
I believe there's like a full list available online, so it might not be beneficial for us to list them all. But
I was just gonna say that we accept 4s or 5s. But then later in your summer, you'll take this course called PACE. It's an online course just about Emory. Teaches you different things they need to know about Emory, and it'll give you a list of all the classes and what they also satisfy. It might also be online if you do some digging around, and it's probably on our website also.
And so I definitely want to emphasize the point that just because you got into Emory, you shouldn't start slacking off now and not try on your AP or IB exams, because getting credit is really nice. You definitely don't have to come in with credit. That's completely normal. But if you can come in with, a couple credit hours, that's helpful. And you might be able to waive a class that you don't want to retake. So for example, if you're taking calculus right now, it would be great if you could get a 4 or 5 on the exam so you don't have to take your math requirement if that's not really what you want to study. Yeah.
And that AP credit list is on the Emory website, apply.emory.edu.
Oh, Rachel just posted the AP credit list that she refers to.
Yeah, that's why I just wrote it.
I think Rachel's so helpful. Thanks, Rachel. Okay, wait, Rachel has a question, and she says, is there school spirit even without a football team? So who wants to take that?
Maybe we can all take it.
Yeah. I can start. I thought going into Emory that was going to bother me because I've always been really into sports, and I've grown up watching sports. I've grown up really being involved with sports myself. But I actually came here and I became really invested both with our varsity athletes that were not on our non-existent football team. So like I would go to a lot of basketball games, baseball games, those kind of things. But then also we have like a really great sports community in Atlanta. So you don't really feel like you're missing out. That's me. Like if anyone else has another take on it, you can share that.
Just one of the things that I've noticed here is that like people are really, really into our school mascots. So even though we don't necessarily they don't necessarily like show up at the football games because we don't have any. People like, especially during Dooley's week, was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Like people would like just run around wanting to take pictures with Dooley, our skeleton mascot, and want to dance with Dooley. And like he's like the biggest celebrity on campus.
There's definitely a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I feel like, I didn't really talk about school spirit. I was just thinking about the no sports part, but school spirit, I forgot about that part of the question, but school spirit is definitely a thing. And like people wear Emory gear all of the time. It's not just because I told them to wear their Emory shirt.
I love this.
But
it's really nice.
No, there's a ton of school spirit, and I think people are so proud to be here. And I know I am, and they can all say that they are too. And Emory students are just in general proud of their school because we do really great things, and it's a great place to be.
And I'll say, sorry, I keep adding on to things.
No,
I just think like I've learned to kind of define school spirit in a different way since I've come here. And I think like people here just really support each other in different ways and going to football games. Like during April, there's a ton of different arts events for dance and improv and a cappella. And I've been to like 10 of these events just in the past week, even though I have finals to study for, because I just have so many friends in different groups that I want to support. And all the friends are different sports teams, like Natalie said. And I feel like a lot of us just end up going to support each other or going to watch our friends present their honors theses and be really happy for them. So like that's kind of our version of school spirit, is just being there for each other and being proud of each other.
Yeah.
And also another thing that I always like to add on about school spirit is that for other schools, some of them pay their tour guides, but we don't. But we still had like 250 students apply for 70 different spots for tour guides this year. So it's very, it's just, they don't need a motivator to talk about Emory. They love talking about Emory. And we had over 250 people apply to do that. So just something really special about Emory is that we don't need to motivate ourselves to actually, represent Emory.
That's
we'll
a
do
really
it for
good
free.
point. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we have a question for those on the pre-med track. Does it look bad to have prereqs fulfilled by AP exams only? You're not pre-med, are you?
I'm debating. I'm potentially
He's
pre-med.
potentially pre-med.
So I can kind of attack that question. So I've decided, even though I did have AP credit going in for both biology and chemistry, to retake those courses. I mean, I would say that it could go either way. I'm planning not to retake the first calculus credit that I got. So I would say like whatever you don't necessarily feel comfortable with like to the full extent, I was just taking it here because the classes here are amazing and the professors here are amazing. And I would say that it's always a good experience to take it here. There's never anything that can go wrong with you taking that class here. But I would like it's honestly in the end up to you. I don't think medical schools will particularly judge in any way. Yeah.
And you're still gonna have to take more classes than just like the general chemistry and general bio.
Yeah.
So
Good question. Okay. So the next question is, what is the most common freshman year mistake? So how about our freshman year?
Oh gosh.
Take that.
Yeah, I was so freaked out coming in just based on like, I think the classes was the biggest thing for me. Just like my mistake was thinking that I had to sign up for every single possible class that I could take that I was interested in. So I started up taking the max amount of credits. I think 21 credits is what I came in trying to take, which was 6 classes for me. And then I ended up cutting, it might have been 6 plus a PE credit. And then I ended up cutting down and realizing that, no, you need to take it one step at a time, because really your experience here is just, you need to enjoy or be able to have the opportunity to enjoy every single minute here. And you don't need to stress yourself out because there really is no necessarily need to.
Nice. What was your freshman mistake?
I would say the biggest freshman mistake is don't fill up your entire plate at the Duck and then try to walk down the steps.
Did you have a traumatic experience?
Almost. It was kind of embarrassing. So the Duck is our student union. That's where we eat food. And there are the seats are kind of like terrace style, so you have to walk down steps to get there. And you've got your tray, and it's kind of hard to see where your feet are going because the tray's in front of you. But it's very easy to lose a step and fall. I lost a step, and my plate fell over, and like the water spilled everywhere. And I saw people laughing at me. I tried to laugh it off. It's embarrassing. It's kind of like in the first week, it's kind of see who the freshmen are. But yeah, so that's probably my mistake. Just watch where you're going. Yeah.
Oh, man. Amy, do you have a freshman year mistake?
I Honestly, I think the biggest mistake I made my freshman year was like not calling my parents enough because like I'm really far away from them, and I love, you know, like being in college, and I think I had so much fun that I just kind of like forgot to call them every once in a while, and I did like that's
You didn't
probably
get the reminder text all the time?
No, do you have
Oh,
those?
no, I get the text.
Yeah, my
from my
parents
mom.
would text me too.
You haven't called me in a while.
Yeah.
No, my parents were really chill about it, actually. I don't think about it. But yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have kept more in touch with them because I think like when you leave high school and you leave home, you really like realize how important family is to you even more.
Oh,
I would say
heartwarming.
I probably have 2 freshman mistakes that I'll quickly touch on. One would be being over involved freshman year and just trying to get involved in everything. And I think that there is a positive to that because you see what you like, what you don't like, but definitely take time to get to know people and don't get involved in like 7 different things. And then second, what was second? Okay, I had another one. I'll come back to it. Okay. So we have a lot of really great questions here. So Lindsay asks, what are some good ways to socialize during the first few months of school to help build a group of friends? That's a really good question.
I'll take that one.
Good.
So I think the best way to get your group of friends is through your residence hall, like to get your first like good group of friends. And really you get that through Songfest, which is, if you don't know what Songfest is, it's in your first week of Emory, you do this giant song and dance with your hall, and it's 7 minutes long. It's basically about why your dorm is the best and why all the other dorms suck. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds really stupid, and that's because it is, but everyone is doing the same stupid thing you're doing. So it's the best way to get to meet people, to get to know everyone. That's how I met my best friends last year, and
and
still there's
again school spirit. That was pretty much like the defining one. I was like, I love being here just because of the Songfest.
Yeah,
Songfest is amazing. YouTube.
Go on YouTube, type in Emory Songfest 2014.
You'll be impressed
really
with like the choreography. I was impressed.
Longstreet Means won last year. They're amazing. Just watch that.
And then also to add on to that point, there are a lot of events that the university provides themselves through different organizations, or just like during the first few months of school, especially as a first year student, to like meet other students, both upperclassmen and those in your grade. And so I feel like just attending those events and talking to more people, you'll have the opportunity to find that group
opportunities
of
that the university provides themselves. Like, so they give it to themselves?
No, like I don't know. That was really bad word.
Okay, yeah. So your residence hall, going to events that the university provides so that you get to meet other people, and then also get involved with a club that you think sounds cool. That's my advice. Okay, great question. So, Rachel asked, how do you win Songfest? How do you win Songfest?
I thought I knew that, and we didn't win. So
he's a little bitter.
We won, so just want to put it out there.
It's a big deal, and you get bragging rights. I think we've talked about it in another Google Hangout, but it's a really big Emory tradition. So
just be into it. All you
really
just go for it.
To win, we were like we were united as a hall, which is why we won, because we were all really passionate about it.
Just get out of your comfort zone and do it. Like, it's so much fun.
It's a great experience. So Josh has a question, or Joshua, I'm not sure what you go by. And it says, what is one thing that you wish you would have brought with you freshman year, preferably dorm related? So something, maybe like something that like a parent or guardian like shipped that you forgot. I'm trying to remember.
I came pretty well prepared.
What's nice is that there's a Target close. So if you need anything, we have shuttles that go to Target.
Bring a comforter. A lot of people only do a blanket, and bring a comforter. It gets cold. Like,
no, you're doing it wrong.
I'm from Florida, so I got cold a lot, but like comforter is really nice and relaxing. Yeah, I like it.
My roommate and I ended up pitching in to buy a couch mid-year because it was nice to have other people in the room, even though there is like furniture there provided for you. It was nice. It was a nice addition to have.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. Okay. So can you select your own residence hall? If not, can you switch to another residence hall? I'll briefly touch on that. So you don't select which residence hall you're in. You take a long survey that basically matches you with a roommate that would fit you, unless you've previously said your roommate request and where you would best fit in, and they take those into account. But you don't select your residence hall, and it's not really like, oh, I don't like this residence hall, I switch. They're all wonderful, and you just end up being really happy where you are.
Yep.
Okay, and Maggie asks, what is the coolest experience you've had on the Emory campus? That's a good question.
So
it's such a tough
I've had a
That's
ton.
really hard.
I've had a ton, but I think the coolest thing that's ever happened is earlier in the year, they were filming a movie on campus, and it starred Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, and we got to see them shoot. So my class was actually let out early that day, so I went in front of Whitehall where they were shooting, and I just watched him walk out of Whitehall probably like 30 times. They're just doing the take multiple times over, but it was just so cool to see. Like, I'm really interested in film. I'm a media studies major, and getting to see like a production being shot on our campus with an actual like A-list celebrity walking out of where I walk out of every day. I have a really cool picture. It's on the Instagram if you want to see, on like the Emory Instagram. But it was so cool, honestly. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot, but the first one that comes to my mind is something that happened on my birthday. So my birthday's on Halloween. This year for Halloween, I went trick-or-treating at President Wagner's house. So the president of the university lives at Lowwater Park, which is right off the Claremont campus, which is like an apartment complex just a mile away. And so he lives in like this little castle, and it's really cute. So he opens his house every Halloween to trick-or-treating for students. So I actually went trick-or-treating. I got up in a costume, and I went to his house, and I actually got to like meet him and say hi to him and talk about like his last year and how his transition's gonna be. I got candy. And then like Dooley showed up out of nowhere. So he was like there, and he was dancing with people. And then he like put his arm around me and took a picture with me. So I'm sure like to this day that Dooley was someone that I know, because Dooley's like played by a different student every time. So I have this conspiracy that it was someone that I know. And I'm pretty sure I know who. But that was a really fun time. It like made my birthday.
But you can't reveal who Dooley is. It's a secret. Okay. Just wanted to add that in there. So Lindsay says that she's indicated on her application that she wants a single. Do the requests typically get fulfilled? Yes, in general, right?
Just though, because we do have a limited amount of single rooms, they usually go to people that are like need the single room for a certain situation first. Right. So, I mean, occasionally they will not get fulfilled. So, I mean, that's up to housing, and we just don't have the space to accommodate every single person that requests a single room.
Yeah. Good answer. Do you have any Emory bucket list items? Oh. That's a great one. Okay, so getting a picture with Dooley and Swoop is definitely on there. As you just mentioned, Songfest is bucket list, but pretty much everyone does Songfest. What do you guys' bucket
I don't know.
list
I haven't even thought about
that.
that.
Dooley's Week concerts.
So yeah, Dooley's Week concerts, going trick-or-treating at the president's house is one. Has everyone done that? I've done that. You've done it?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it? Eric!
Eric!
Wow, disappointing.
I really wanted to go to like the volley and Holy this year, so that was really cool.
Oh, okay.
I waited in line and I
Volley,
didn't get tickets. It was so sad.
Cool. Have you heard J-Wags' story about the bucket list?
No.
He so apparently there was a thing on the bucket list that it was to jump over the gate and into his pool.
Oh, by the way, J-Wags is a abbreviated term for
our president,
Wagner.
Jim Wagner. Yeah. So apparently.
He calls himself Jim.
Oh, okay.
So he was telling us his story last year. Apparently, all these students would like their bucket list item was to jump over his fence and into his pool. And so many people started doing it, and he was like all right with it. And then one time he goes over there at night and sees an Emory card still lying there, and it's got their name on it. But then also I guess he saw like so he brought it to them and was just like, hey, you left your Emory card in my pool. Like, no, I didn't. He's like, no, I see your name. Like, no, I didn't. So then the person actually had to like decided instead of going to get it from him, they just, bought a new Emory card. But now he covers up the pool because of a few incidents that happened there.
Yeah.
So
I haven't gone rock climbing on the rock climbing wall that's in our gym yet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have like a tiny fear of rock climbing, but I want to do it before I graduate.
That's a good one. There are honestly just like Google Emory bucket list. There are a lot of
articles out there.
There's actually a BuzzFeed article.
Yeah, definitely go look at it. So Rachel asks, is there anything you would suggest to do to prepare for Emory over the summer? That's a good question. Anyone want to take that?
Just like, any weekly email that you get, just follow what it says to do. Because honestly, that gives you the best advice of how to prepare. Just keep up to date with what Emory is sending you through the admissions office or anything, and just be proactive. In terms of anything in particular, my mom kept bugging me because she kept saying, "Oh my gosh, Julian, you need to prepare for college," over last summer. But as long as I just kept up to date with those things, I think that I was fine going in.
Yeah, there's nothing really that you have to do other than just follow the emails, and they'll give you all the information that you need. Good question.
pick out your idea of your your dorm, like in your mind. Like think of what you want your room to look like. Yeah, no,
Put
like
together a Pinterest and
yeah. I
everything.
mean, you don't need to go
man.
that into it. Like walk around Bed Bath and Beyond. Like figure out what you want your room to look like. Color schemes, all that.
Color
Yeah. So
schemes.
important.
Okay.
Blue.
Just
Okay,
blue?
Josh/Joshua asks, if you request a roommate, do you automatically get that person? Yes, if you both mutually request each other. So if your roommate's like Adam, if Josh requests Adam and Adam requests Josh, then you guys definitely get each other.
Where'd you get that name from?
I have two friends that are Adam and Josh that are rooming
Wait, really?
together, so that's
Oh.
actually kind of funny.
I mean, I just pulled that up there.
It's not my name.
Nice.
Sketch.
Good question.
I thought it was funny. I
Okay,
laughed.
keep asking questions, but I have one. So how easy is it to get involved at Emory?
I'll take that. So it's actually pretty easy to get involved. One of the first things you'll get to see is the student activities fair. So that's we have over 400 clubs and organizations at Emory, and just on McDonough Field, all these organizations will just line up with tables with all their information, and then you can just go over there and find things that you're passionate about, and then just get on their email list. So I know a lot of first years will try to do like sign up for 20 different things and then try to go to all those. But like they'll probably narrow down to maybe 3 or 4 clubs that you're genuinely passionate about. So I would say it's pretty easy to get involved, and then you can get leadership roles based on what you decide to put into that.
Nice, perfect. Okay, Rachel has a question. My dad wants me to ask this. Do people help you move your stuff into your dorm room when you move in? This is one of my favorite parts.
Yes, this is yeah.
So I was an orientation leader, and basically the role of orientation leaders is to help first years and any transfer students who come in get through their first couple months at Emory, make sure that they're comfortable and know where everything is and all of the resources. And one of the best parts is move-in day, and they all help you along with your sophomore advisors and resident advisors move in. So parents, you do not have to worry. We've got you covered.
There's also the President Wagner will sometimes just like randomly help families move in.
Yeah.
And my friend was like moving in one time, and he helped her move like the box all the way up to the 5th floor of the dorm. And then like after they got down, like introduced himself like, "Hi, I'm the president of the university." And she was like, "Oh, hi, thanks."
Yeah, no, he does help move in, which
They're
is really
helpful
fun.
people.
Yeah, great. And then Maggie says, what internship opportunities are at Emory?
I'll take this one. So there are a ton of different options through the Career Center, what they do. So last year, one of the things that I went to a lot were different panels that they put on. So like I said, I'm interested in the film industry, and they put on a panel of students at Emory, like upperclassmen, juniors, and they showed them how they just talked about their experiences and how to get there. But also one of the things that you get is access to Eagle Ops, which is our job listing database. And you can just look at it, find internships in Atlanta, in your hometown, in anywhere around the world. I saw something for China the other day. And then you can just, this thing around the world. And then you can just use that and find things that you're passionate about. And that's how actually I got my internship for this summer. I'll be interning at Allied Integrated Marketing. They're a marketing firm for film and media. So I could be working with Disney or Warner Brothers or Paramount. They haven't told me yet. But I'll be doing marketing, and I'll be here in Atlanta. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. And you have an internship.
Yeah, I actually got my internship through an Emory alum who graduated in I think 2013. And I met her at a random career networking event, and I realized that she majored in the same things that I did. So I got to talking with her, I got her business card, and then a year later I sent her an email asking if they had any openings, and she set me up with the right person. So the alumni network is really strong. There are a lot of people who just graduated who are in the area or all over the world and just really want to help current Emory students out. And another thing is that internships are really supported on campus too, in your academics. So I have an independent study requirement for my major, and I can fulfill it by actually doing the summer internship and then incorporating it in. I have a friend named Noah who interned at CNN this past semester doing PR work, and he was able to fit that into his coursework because his advisor helped with him. And then my friend Matt, who's a freshman, is working at the CDC right now. So there's a lot of ways to get involved in Atlanta's top companies immediately.
Yeah,
definitely. Great. So I think we're going to wrap up the panel, but I have one final question for Amy and Eric, because you've already answered it, so your time to shine is over. But so why did you choose Emory?
I'll go with this first. So I kind of said a lot of my reasons before, but like I said, I applied ED, and I just really chose it because there are just so many things about it. When I toured, like I said, it's absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, rain or shine. The marble, like even in the rain, the marble buildings just kind of like are beautiful. And like I said, the smiling faces and just everyone's genuinely happy to be there. And I still see that to this day. I don't really know anyone that's upset to be at Emory. We just have a really great pride. And another thing I was really nervous about, a cutthroat environment, but I've noticed that we're very collaborative here, like Amy said earlier. But something that you'll notice, like in your residence halls and in the library, all the tables have wheels on the bottom. It's so small, but it's just easy for you
This is why I came to Emory.
Yeah,
Wheels.
Yeah, but you can push them together, and it's just something that you'll meet your best friends in your hall, and they're all studying. They could be studying the same major as you. And hey, my tour people, the people I toured love this. Sorry. And just pushing the tables together just shows a very collaborative environment. And then finally, the ability to not take ourselves so seriously. We have Dually, Songfest, like all of these really cool things in addition to our studies. And I just love the fact that we don't have to be so serious all the time.
Yeah. For me, it was like Emory checked off a lot of boxes for me that I knew I wanted. Like I wanted this mid-size where like you would know people are on campus, but you'd still be meeting new people all the time. I wanted a place where I wouldn't have to choose my major immediately. Like there are a lot of other schools where you might have to like pick a college within the university. And I liked how Emory gives you like 2 years to like explore what you want to do first, because I was undecided. And then honestly, the biggest part of it was just when I visited, it really felt like home to me almost immediately. Like both campuses, I was just walking around, even though I was really unused to like all the pollen that was floating around. I was really confused by it. But like, I love the campus, and it felt like really warm and welcoming, and not everyone has that chance, but like I was really lucky to it felt right to me. And sometimes you just got to go with your gut.
Yep.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed all 3 Hangouts, and be sure to check out the YouTube video that I will post later. Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, feel free to ask us any
Hang out.
questions
I got
on the
it.
Facebook group or
Alright,
anywhere
bye.
else if you have
Absolutely.
any other additional things.
Yes. Thank you.